I'm trying to get that dough. Every day is another struggle. This is my life. So what if my plans that low? Just sit back.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a few days, okay? I know. Been working and doing all the types of stuff, so bear with me when you see me missing for a few days like that. Normally, I try not to be gone for too long. Like, the most I try to be gone, like if I don't upload on YouTube, is like 3 days. But if it's like been like 5 days, then that means that like something else is happening, you know, that I need to take care of. But I'm back today. We are getting into who will surpass BTS. I'm excited. I've been wanting to react to this for a while. This is by Asian Entertainment and Culture. So we are going to get into it. And this video shouldn't be too long. I mean, at this stage of development, is it possible to surpass anyone in any field? Let's just take it out of just K-pop. Yes. Eventually people will, if enough time goes by, people will surpass other beings, regardless of what industry that you are in. Like, it really does not matter. If enough time goes by. There's been times where 20-30 years will go by and somebody will be the first person after the person that actually set the record to finally come along after 30-20 years and break that record. Eventually it will happen. Do I think it's happening anytime soon? No. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but eventually it will happen. It just, enough time has to go by. So let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also, Patreon is now up, active, and live. We just dropped, what is it? The Rise of Bangtan Chapter 3. I also am going to do deleted scenes and bonus content on there as well, which I already uploaded to my Patreon, so you guys can go ahead and subscribe. Let's go ahead and see what this video is getting.
As BTS starts pursuing individual activities, media, haters, and just about every fandom and their dog are rushing to dethrone BTS.
Oh,
Not that it is surprising. No one builds a fandom of millions without making thousands of haters. That's why it's hard to depend on Twitter trends and mass buying sales and streaming figures to determine whether BTS can ever be dethroned. It's better to look at their actual artistic excellence. Number 1. Artistic prolificity. BTS is prolific in many ways and in so many levels. In music, they've gone from heavy pop to classically influenced
yeah.
to traditional
It's called versatility. That's all it is.
to Latin. And the list goes on. But their art isn't just music. They have in fact transformed sheer merchandising to a full narrative with BT21. They created characters with full character backgrounds and narrative progress. They have pushed modern art into the mainstream on a global level. They introduced multi-channel narrative, utilizing different art forms to tell a story. Music to music videos to books to short films. Number 2. Musical spectrum. No other K-pop act and very few artists globally have used so many genres, from heavy pop to Latin to classical to traditional. BTS's range of genres is just the tip of the iceberg. BTS has this uncanny ability to use the melody and the beat to add layers of narrative to their lyrics. Go Go is an example. While the song is upbeat, fun, and to a degree funny, the song actually talks about their miserable environment many young people are born into and how they cope and survive by having superficial dreams and living a superficial life. Anpan Man is another. The song sounds like an OST of a superhero movie for children, but it is actually about a superhero who has no superpower. By creating an oxymoron between the melody and the lyrics, they strengthen the narrative by adding a layer to the story. The melody or beat tells a story by itself. The lyrics tells a story by itself. Putting them together creates another layer to the stories. Go Go could have simply been a song about miserable environment many young people are born into. But by putting an upbeat melody with such depressing lyrics, they managed to demonstrate how the fun and funny activities young people fill their lives with actually cloak the misery of music videos. To this day, the majority of music videos globally, and especially in K-pop, are filled with cute and beautiful and fun imagery. There's nothing wrong with that. But BTS turned music videos into a narrative series. They
I
connected
definitely can
stories
agree
from
with that.
different music videos within an era to tell a story,
I might not
and then
understand a
connected
lot of it
different
because I'll be
eras to
like, what is
reflect a
happening?
larger
But you can
story.
tell that they are definitely trying to tell a story
Number
through their
4,
music videos.
elevation of K-pop to artistic legitimacy. Like other boy bands, BTS was brought together by an agency. But the similarity to a typical boy band just about ends there. Not only did they launch their career with heavy pop and rap heavy songs, they also write and produce their own music. But perhaps the more important role
That's
they
a lot
take
of song
on is
credit.
that of directors.
Whew.
They co-create the concepts of
It's
their
a lot.
album, their music videos, merch, and performances. They have a huge team of collaborators, but BTS starts and ends concepts and executions. The concept of Filter came from Jimin himself. Boy with Love, the song that everyone thought to be a bubblegum pop song, was BTS's re-examination of how the simplest expressions of love are the greatest and purest, and also the hardest to appreciate. No More Dream is an encapsulation of RM and Suga's emotion as they felt the pressure of aiming for social, academic, and professional excellence in their younger years. It was an emotional rebellion, one that many Asian youth felt. And the depth of creativity shows in the range of their genres, the dimensions of their narrative, the depth of their message, the evolution and elevation of stories, and apparent maturity to excellence. No other K-pop group and very few artists globally have evolved towards such maturity. Even fewer that can boast such an artistic spectrum, and even fewer that has changed an entire industry for the better. Media, fans, and critics still either refuse to acknowledge this or are too superficial to not realize this. It, however, doesn't change the fact that BTS has been flying in a much higher altitude than the rest of K-pop and most of the global music industry. Number 5. Shift from charts to artistry. BTS earned more than 56 million from their PTD concert in Las Vegas. That's one location plus live streaming. Had they done a tour, they would have smashed all records for a tour. Not to mention merchandise, media mentions, and others. But they chose creative growth over sales, charts, and popularity.
And that was just from
That's
Las
the choice
Vegas?
they made unprovoked. They
That was
chose
just
to
from Las
walk away
Vegas?
from all the money and the popularity,
Whoa.
all in the interest of new uncertain creative
I wonder why they
pursuits
didn't
in
do a
order to
tour.
grow
Like a
individually as
full like
artists
tour, like a
themselves.
full global like
They
tour.
elevated
On the
the
road
K-pop
tour.
game when they put K-pop front and center in the international stage. From US talk shows to the Grammy, they became so successful that European and US talk shows, awards, and other major events had no other choice but to recognize them.
I agree.
And just as when other artists started walking the way they paved, they walked away
But
to
see,
pursue a higher pattern.
that's the thing though. That's the thing. They had no choice but to recognize them in some form or fashion because it's like if you don't, then you kind of look like you're discriminating. Because who is really giving it to y'all the way that they are? Especially in K-pop. Like, who's really giving it to y'all like that, the way they are? So you kind of have no choice but to be like, damn, like they out here breaking all these records. They out here doing all of this. They out here whoop-de-woo getting up. They got like 6, 7 number ones. So if you choose to ignore it and not give them the recognition, you kind of look like you're discriminating a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. You kind of look like you're discriminating. So it's like they really had no choice but to give them that type of recognition because if they didn't, it will be I don't know how much backlash on their part. Like, a whole lot.
A much difficult one at that, the creative battle. And they have been on a creative berserk ever since. Number 6, reinvention of K-pop marketing. Many haters claim that BTS is only popular because of social media. They missed several things. A, BTS didn't have mainstream marketing support like other groups. Social media was still in their infancy when they started using it, and it powered them more than mainstream marketing did to other groups. They were either experts in a marketing channel that remains a puzzle to many marketers to this day, or their appeal is beyond the medium. It's in the substance, not glamour.
What is the difference between mass marketing from your label and marketing from the internet? It's all marketing. So if you don't have one, you have to have the other. Regardless of the fact, you need some type of marketing. If you don't got one, you have to have the other. So it's kind of like, what do you want them to do? They were able to benefit from it. Other groups were able to benefit from it, but I feel like they've definitely benefited from it the most, especially with Twitter. Like, Twitter is like BTS's domain. I definitely see other K-pop groups trending. I see BTS trending every single day. Like, there's not a day that does not go by where one of the members or the group as a whole is not trending. And I kid you not, I check Twitter every single day, which they trend every day. So I feel like Twitter is like them. Like, they literally like own Twitter when it comes to like ARMY fan bases. Like, they do not play when it comes to BTS on Twitter. I kid you not. So at the end of the day, you kind of have to have one or the other. You either have to have label marketing or you have to have the internet for marketing. And I feel like the internet for them was extremely beneficial on how they blew up, on how they were able to communicate with their fans. Like, the people that are just saying that is giving me, you trying to make an excuse for where their success came from. You're trying to make an excuse for where their success came from. That's all that is. Because come on.
This game. They proved that. Beyond their consistent content creation, it was the quality of the content that heavily deviated from usual K-pop marketing content that did it for them. It was constantly about their music, their life as musicians, and the processes of creating one. They lived and talked music in the guise of being idols. BTS doesn't just release promo photos, they release a narrative. Each photo has a story, a part of a larger narrative. Their music videos aren't just beautiful imagery. Each frame, each setup serves to progress a story. BTS's marketing isn't just marketing, it is storytelling. D. BTS completely bypassed the wall that big agencies put between the fans and the artists. It was constructed to package idols as aspirational characters, molded to perfection and wrapped with glamour. BTS decided to move closer to the fans, directly interacting with them to talk about their music and their art. And by bridging that gap, they deconstructed the aspirational positioning and started uncovering their artistry.
그래서 한국 분들이나 다른 전 세계 분들도 많이 기다려 주시는 것 같아요.
Number 7. They take labyrinth stories and ideas to mainstream consciousness. Whalian 52 is known to be the loneliest whale in the world, as it is the only whale that sings in 52 hertz, much higher than what an ordinary whale could possibly hear. The whale has been found in many places around the world since the late 80s and appears to be the only specimen capable of producing a frequency so high. The lonely whale sings on its accord, even though it is never heard.
That's what that means?
Understood. BTS used this to talk about their own artistry, their existence, their
Wow.
history of talking, but never being heard. BTS's discography is filled with such complex metaphors,
Wow.
oxymorons, epigrams, and synanthety. With such efforts, they have not only fed their fans with quality music but also inspired them to learn more about complex concepts, often reading books, watching documentaries, and conducting research with such depth it could put National Geographic to shame. Number 8. Process and end product. Perhaps knowing they have full creative control in their arsenal allowed BTS
There
to
are
openly talk
some
about the complete and
creative boys, I tell
end-to-end
you that
process
much.
of their content creation. When mainstream media constantly miss the artistry they prefer to talk about, they conducted their own global press conferences. With control of talking points on their hands, they managed to uncover just how much creative control they have over their own art. They managed to talk about the complicated thought process of their songs, the complex subject matters they cover in their songs. They leave nothing to chance in furthering the exposition of their art. With such effort, they're able to highlight just how superficial and juvenile mainstream media could be because without their own global conferences, media will simply continue with their usual talking points: popularity, fashion, synchronization, sales, glamour, instead of the substance of their music. BTS has gone beyond music. They created animated masterpieces with narratives as expansive as classic animes and cartoons. They have used their devices, from wardrobe to props, to raise awareness and attract people to South Korean products, brands, culture, and art. They constantly collaborate with lesser known but good artists to help put a spotlight on different genres and talents. They highlight the beauty of their history, culture, geography by using all these elements as integral part of their storytelling and not just incidental props to their imagery. It has resulted to them becoming significant contributors to their country's economy and introducing Asia's reputation as creative and cultural powerhouse in the mainstream. They have used literature, local and international, as foundations of their stories, encouraging their fandom to read, study, research, and even become writers and content creators themselves. Number 10. Their story, their voice. Perhaps the reason they were able to reinvent K-pop, redefine Asian pop, and revolutionize global entertainment is the authenticity of their art. The single greatest commitment they made with their label was the use of their own story and voice in their music. No More Dream was about the struggles of their youth. Blood, Sweat, and Tears was their acknowledgement of how they can never dodge the consequences of their pursuit for mainstream success. Not Today talks of how their stay at the summit will end, but they commit to fight until the very end. And even when they decided to sing Dynamite and Permission to Dance, the only two songs in their arsenal that aren't theirs, it was still a decision they made and not forced
What do you
upon
mean
them.
not theirs?
The recent revelation of the band that they were creatively drained and was scheduled to start doing solo activities before the pandemic more than substantiate this. Artists that reinvent an art or craft or an industry come not just once in a lifetime, but just
What does she mean
once.
by Dynamite
There will
and Permission
never
to Dance
be
is not
BTS.
theirs? Can somebody
There
let
will
me
never
know?
be another artist that can reinvent mainstream pop, force the reinterpretation of Asian art and culture, and elevate the summit of artistic excellence the way they're doing it. Other artists can walk on the road they paved and find new lands to conquer to build their own kingdom, but they will never be greater than BTS.
Damn. It's a bold statement. This was a well put together video. Okay. Listen, she made a lot of statements. She said a lot of things that I didn't know or that I wasn't aware of. When it comes to like the storytelling aspect, they definitely do. Like you don't even have to actually see the lyrics from them to know that they're telling a story. It's just the visual aspect. You can tell that they are trying to reel you in with some type of elaborate story, and the visuals of the music videos are just so sickening, and it's more than just like gimmicks. Like it's like they are really trying to paint a picture, like literal art. That's what it comes off almost like. It's like art. um Again, I don't know what Homegrown meant by they don't I don't. What'd she say? They don't own permission to dance or something, or like that's not theirs. I don't know what that meant. Cause somebody let me know. Does she mean they didn't write it? Like, what does she mean by that? Like, I don't know. But this was a really, really good video. This was a really, really good video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Once again, Patreon is up, live, and active. We do have a BTS tier, so you might want to get over there and subscribe. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Done it all, been through it all. I walked over the motherfucking fire with sandals. Gonna burn your feet eventually.